so before we start watching this video, guys, just a few things to go over. So can you have a pen and piece of paper at the side of you, just in case you want to take some notes? Benefit of this being a video lesson is that you can listen to this again. So if there's anything that you don't quite understand or want to have another look at, please do watch the video again. Be prepared to pause, because throughout this video I'm going to give you some activities to do, and you'll need to pause the video and have a go at those. And then lastly, I really want you to focus and try and avoid any distractions. So what I find really useful is putting my mobile phone in another room so it doesn't distract you. Okay, so here's your maths project for the week commencing 6th of July. So, as this is your last project, maths project of this academic year, so for year 7, each day you're going to have 10 questions to answer that cover all the topics that you have learned throughout the year, okay? And from the maths team, we would like to say a massive well done for all your hard work in maths this year. Now, each day, so this is Monday, I'm going to do some revision with you first, and then your 10 questions will come up on the screen. Okay, so today's revision is about simplifying expressions. So, if you were given this expression and asked to simplify it, just remember that you can only add and subtract like terms. So A's are different to B's, so they cannot be added together. So we start with the A's, and we've got 4A, add an A. Now that add belongs to the A because whatever's in front of it belongs to it. So 4A, add A means 1A. We just don't write the 1 in algebra. So 4 add 1 gives us 5A. Then look at the B's. 2B, add 3B gives us plus 5B. So that expression simplified becomes 5A plus 5B. Moving on then. So X's and Y's are separate. So let's start with the X's. 3x minus an x, which stands for 1, okay, gives us 2x. Then look at the y's. 2y plus 3y gives us plus 5y. So your last example, we've got d's and e's, so let's look at the d's to start with. We've got 2d minus 1d, which gives us 1d, but we don't write the 1, so it just is written as d. Then we've got 2e minus 3e. 2 minus 3 gives us a minus 1. We don't write 1 in algebra, so it just becomes minus e. So simplified, that expression becomes d minus e. So here's your 10 questions for Monday. You're going to pause the video now. You're going to write your answers to the right, and that's it for Monday. Pause now. Welcome to Tuesday's questions. So our revision for today before your questions is adding and subtracting fractions. So just to remember, adding and subtracting fractions is the same method. To add or subtract fractions, you have to make sure that the denominators are the same number first. So if we look at the first example, 4 over 5 minus 1 over 5, the denominators are already the same. So you just subtract the numerators, so 4 take 1 gives you 3, and the denominator remains the same, which is 5. So your answer is 3 over 5. It's the exact same when you're adding, so we've got 2 over 7, add 3 over 7 here. So the denominators are already the same, so you add the numerators, 2 add 3 gives you 5, and it becomes 5 over 7 because the denominator remains the same. So here's your 10 questions for today. Pause the video now and have a go. Welcome to Wednesday's questions. So revision for today is about highest common factor, okay? Important that you know what a factor is, okay? So let's do a bit of revision on that. Factors are numbers that go into another number, and factors always come in pairs. So the question says, what is the highest common factor of 12 and 20? So to answer a question like this, you need to write down all the factors of 12 and all the factors of 20, and then look in both lists for the highest number that's in both of those lists. So the factors of 12, and they always come in pairs because 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, and 3 times 4 is 12. They're all your factors of 12. Now list your factors of 20. 1 times 20 is 20, 2 times 10 is 20, 5 times 4 is 20. That's all the factors of 20. Now look in both lists and look for the highest number that appears in both, which is 4. So your HCF, or highest common factor, is 4. Hope you found that revision useful. Here's your 10 questions for Wednesday. Pause the video now and have a go. Hi and welcome to Thursday's questions. So our revision for today is on lowest common multiple. So let's remind ourselves what a multiple is. So a multiple is numbers that are in another number's times table. So you're just listing the times table of that number. So what is the lowest common multiple of 12 and 20? So for this type of question, you list multiples of 12 and multiples of 20, and you're looking for the lowest common number that's in both lists. I always try and write 5 or 6 in each list first, okay? So if we look at the 12 times table, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Now start listing some multiples of 20 and see if any are in the other list. So 20, 40, 60. So 60 is the lowest common multiple in both 12 and 20. So the LCM, lowest common multiple, is 60. Here's your 10 questions for Thursday. Pause the video now and have a go. Welcome to Friday's questions. Today's revision is on multiplying fractions. So our question is 4 times the fraction 3 over 13. Now, what's really important to remember is when you've got a whole number times by a fraction, always put the whole number as a fraction and put it over 1. So 4 now becomes 4 over 1 times 3 over 13. Now, when you're multiplying, you just multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So you're doing 4 times 3, which gets you 12. 1 times 13 is 13. So your answer is 12 over 13. And then always check to see if you can simplify your answer. But in this case, we can't. So here's Friday's questions. 10 questions. Pause the video now and have a go. That's the end of the video, guys. You've done really well. If you want to watch the video again, please do.